WCNC TV Charlotte. Live from NBC Charlotte, this is Charlotte Today.
Today, there are more than 150 million orphans in the world. In the U.S. alone, there are more than 400,000 children without permanent families.
But a local group is working to change that. Welcome Jason Cipriani, the president of Gift of Adoption of the Carolinas. And I tell you what a wonderful thing to do, because I know a number of families that adopt. This is outstanding. How are you doing? And welcome to the show.
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Indeed.
I don't think many people realize, even though these children are in need of permanent homes, giving them a permanent home can be very expensive.
Incredibly expensive. Yeah, so adoption is not only stressful, emotional, difficult, just going through the process with lawyers and home studies and things like that, but the average adoption in this country is over $30,000.
Wow.
And for most of the folks that we work with, and frankly for just about everyone, that's a lot of money, right? And oftentimes these parents can have the resources to care for the kids, take care of the kids on the other side, but coming up with that amount of money to try and fulfill the adoption is just an overwhelming barrier for them.
And $30,000 is just for a domestic adoption.
That's right.
When you add travel and
go
hotel.
international, you're talking $50,000 to $60,000 if you're going to places like China or others. Think about the airfare involved. Oftentimes the request to come pick up the child or get the child is last minute, so last minute airfare on top of all of that. It's incredibly expensive.
So let's start here. What is the Gift of Adoption? How is that helping people?
Sure. So we're a national charity. We have 15 chapters around the country, obviously one here in Charlotte covering North and South Carolina. The organization's been around since the 90s. We started the Carolinas chapter about 6 years ago. And basically what we try and do is help families bridge the financial barriers to adoption. So we are not in the business of deciding who should or shouldn't adopt or helping place children with families, but rather families that have already been matched, have a child who is waiting for them to come into their house, and help them with the last 10 or 20% of funds that they may need to get over the financial hurdles for adoption.
And that is absolutely beautiful. What do you think is the biggest barrier that keeps families from adopting?
It's money. So studies have shown time and time again, in our country we're a very adoptive society. About 1 in 4 of us through our lives consider adoption. Only 1% of those families actually go through with it, and the number one reason they cite is cost. So they're willing to spend the energy, the resources, the time, open up their households, but they just can't get over the financial barriers. And that's what we're here to try and do, is to try and offset some of that.
So you guys have been doing this since 2012. What's been the impact, and how many adoptions you guys?
So here in our backyard, we've done about 150.
Wow, that's a lot of families.
Awesome, right?
That's
so
awesome.
150 kids now with families forever. That's the thing I like about it. It's permanent, right? So this is not something that has to continue to be fed. You do one thing one time, and that child is in a loving home for the rest of their lives and has a chance to grow up and enjoy all the things that we take for granted every day.
But there still are more children in need of homes.
Yeah.
And that means you'll need more money to help the families.
That's
You're
right.
doing some fundraising with a gala. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we turn away about half of the applications that we receive that would otherwise be funded. So unfortunately, the fundraising doesn't keep up with the need. So right now we're able to fulfill about half the applications that we receive. So our main funding source is we have a big gala every year. It's coming up this weekend on Saturday night. Greg Louganis is going to be our keynote speaker.
Oh, wow.
Very cool. He was adopted as a young child and obviously has an amazing Olympic career and has done great things since. So looking forward to hearing him. And we'll have anywhere between 250 and 275 folks come out, hear the message, hear what Greg has to say, and hopefully feel generous and support the cause.
Well, how can the people at home help with the adoption? What's going on with the adoption?
Yeah, so 2 ways. One, obviously, we have a few tickets left to the gala. If anyone wants to come, we'd love to have them. But frankly, a small donation of any amount can be made on our website. And the great thing about this organization is 100% of every dollar we raise goes to kids, right?
100%.
We are a volunteer-driven charity. Our overhead is funded by a group of investors nationally who handle all that. So everything we raise here in the Carolinas stays in our backyard. So it's helping families, right here in Charlotte and North and South Carolina.
Outstanding, Jason. No doubt about that. Indeed it is. Well, you can visit giftofadoption.org. That's giftofadoption.org. And once again, outstanding, sir.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.